We go. For the Tennessee Titans, the NFL season has concluded. NFL Week 18, it was not too friendly to the Titans, but now they're on to bigger and better things and looking towards 2026, and that is finding the next head coach. And the head coaching search has already begun. They have already made multiple requests to teams to interview as head coach. Welcome into Titans Today by Chat Sports. I am your host, Brett Alper. And in case you guys missed it, I didn't really want to talk about it because it was an absolute blowout. The final game of the regular season, 41-7. And if you see right there, well, Cam Ward got hurt. He left the game on a touchdown drive that he led that capped off him running into the end zone. We'll talk all about Cam Ward's injury and how he is doing on the back half of the show. But on today's show, we're talking about head coaching because the head coaching search has started. But with that loss, I will say, and the New York Giants winning that game against the Dallas Cowboys, the Titans hold the 4th pick in the NFL draft, which is extremely well. I thought that they were going to jump up to as high as 7 at one point. But the 4th pick is cool. It's most likely going to be expected that a lot of mock drafts have the Miami edge rusher Ruben Bain. We'll talk about it, but mainly we're going to be talking about right now just the head coaching search. And that's why you subscribe to the channel. Not only do we have draft coverage, but every single day we're going to keep you up to date with the head coaching search, who is getting interviewed, what is going to be the final parts of this, all throughout the search. So make sure you don't miss out and subscribe right now to Titans Today. So as of right now, the Titans have requested 4 head coaches to be interviewed. And I'm expecting there's going to be more because this morning, well, Kevin Stefanski, who is going to be one of the highest top candidates in this offseason, he got fired by the Cleveland Browns today. And it's expected that he's going to talk to the Atlanta Falcons, the New York Giants, and also the Tennessee Titans. But here are the 4 formal requests that have been made so far. You have Matt Nagy. You have Steve Spagnuolo. And Nagy, well, that's the worst nightmare that you could possibly have. But you can see both the Chiefs coordinators are one of the top 2 candidates. Lou Anarumo of the Indianapolis Colts and the defensive coordinator of the Denver Broncos, Vance Joseph. For me, it really feels like this is going to be a Chiefs coordinator to be the next head coach. I've said that I want Mike McCarthy to be one of the main guys. But with everything that's going on, it just feels like it's going to be a Chiefs guy. And why is that? Well, let's go back to what happened over the weekend. And the Tennessee Titans, they restructured their front office with general manager Mike Borgonzi leading the head coaching search and overseeing the 53-man roster. And he will also take full control of the head coaching search. So Mike Borgonzi will report directly to owner Amy Adams Strunk, while president of football operations Chad Brinker will handle the salary cap, the research, development, and analytics. Meaning, Mike Borgonzi has full control of who gets hired and who gets signed. He is going to be the general manager like a normal GM does everything. He is in control. And why do I think that it's going to be a Chiefs guy? Well, because Mike Borgonzi came over from Kansas City. He was the assistant general manager during their dynasty, during all of those Super Bowls. Who was the assistant? It was Mike Borgonzi. And the guy that leading the way, all the way, it's going to be Matt Nagy. And let's talk about Matt Nagy. You can see right there, worked with Borgonzi. They have a tight connection in Kansas City. He's been the OC back in 2017, proved himself to be a head coach, and then got the Bears head coaching job from 2018 to 21. I will say he did win Coach of the Year, but it didn't do much. And then he went back to Kansas City, was the offensive coordinator, and not the play caller, which we'll get to in a second, but they won 2 Super Bowls. But I will say this. We talked about it. I have a video, and I'm going to say the same exact thing on this video as I did last video. This would be a disaster, and this is the Titans' worst nightmare coming true. Because what has Matt Nagy proven as a head coach? It's not the record. The record of him as a head coach is 34-33. It would be very, very, very bad. I get it. He had Mitch Trubisky as his quarterback, but he didn't develop Mitch Trubisky. And you want an offensive guy that is going to help develop Cam Ward. The main guy that you should be hiring is an offensive coordinator that has had play calling. But for some reason, they want to go with Matt Nagy. And it's an offensive coordinator that had success with a top quarterback, but does not call plays, and it's a head coaching candidate. That is Matt Nagy. Coach Patrick Mahomes proved that he can win, proved that he can be an offensive coordinator. And I'll go. I said it before. What does that remind you of? It has deja vu all over the place. Why? Because that is exactly what happened a couple years ago when you fired Mike Vrabel and you hired Brian Callahan. It was an offensive guy that was good with a good quarterback in Joe Burrow, but did not call plays because Zach Taylor called the plays, and Brian Callahan was just the OC that was just there. And then the Titans hired him, and it turned out to be a disaster. And what would happen? The same exact thing if you hired Matt Nagy. I am all for an offensive coach. I want an offensive coach, but not Matt Nagy. I will say, with the guys that they're interviewing or request to interview, like Vance Joseph, with Lou Anarumo, with Steve Spagnuolo, maybe you give him another chance. I'd be okay with that. But if you're going to hire a defensive guy, you need to go out there and get the right offensive coordinator. And I know if you hire a defensive coordinator, I know a perfect guy that you could hire as OC, and he is in Jacksonville right now, and that is Grant Udinski. He was the quarterback coach, the assistant coach of the Minnesota Vikings, went over to Jacksonville to get his first job as offensive coordinator. But there's a reason why I think that the Titans could be able to poach him over from Jacksonville and bring him to Tennessee, because he doesn't call plays over in Jacksonville. Liam Cohen calls plays over at Jacksonville. But Udinski has proven himself to be a great offensive mind. But if you want to be a head coach, unless you're Brian Callahan or, in this case, Matt Nagy, you got to prove that you can call plays and be that head man. He's not going to do that in Jacksonville while you have Liam Cohen having at the helm of the Jacksonville Jaguars, because he's doing an amazing job. Jacksonville is in the playoffs. They are the 3 seed, and Trevor Lawrence looks like the quarterback that we all thought he was going to be. But if Grant Udinski comes over, is the offensive coordinator, proves to himself that he can call plays and take Cam Ward to the next level like he took Sam Darnold, and like what we see Trevor Lawrence right now, he proved himself, and he'd get a head coaching job just like that. But you got to prove yourself, and that is the perfect opportunity for you to call plays in Tennessee for maybe 1 or 2 years and then go get the head coaching job. But that's only if you hire a defensive guy. But that's just my opinion. I truly think that they're probably going to hire Matt Nagy. They got Borgonzi's guy, and that's probably what's going to happen. So I'll ask you guys. We've asked it a million times in this channel, but it just becomes realer and real and real, and it feels like it's going to actually happen. Go down in the comments section, type your H for hire, or give me a P for pass. On the back half of the show, we are going to be talking about Cam Ward's injury, and it's good news. But before then, I got to tell you about our sponsor of today's show, and that is Prize Picks. Whether you're starting a new routine or making player picks for the first time, trying something new can be hard, but in life and on Prize Picks, it always feels good to be right. With high-pressure playoff matchups every weekend and elite hoops action almost every night, the action never stops. And Prize Picks lets you take control. Prize Picks is simple to play. Just pick more or less than 2 to 6 player stat projections, and if you get your picks right, you can cash in. There's a new feature on Prize Picks, and now it's early payouts. If your player gets off to a hot start, you now have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. Find your community on Prize Picks with the new social feeds feature. You can share Prize Picks with your friends and copy lineups from winners with a single click. Copy lineups you like or use them as inspiration for your own picks. But you got to download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. All right, let's talk about Cam Ward, because it was looking like he was going to finish off the final game of the regular season with maybe an upset. Drives right down the field, gets into touchdown range, rolls out, runs to the end zone. Touchdown, Titans. You're leading against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and then, oh shit, he's down. Oh shit, he's going to the locker room. Oh no. But good news, and this comes from Rap Sheet, that Cam Ward only has an AC joint sprain, and it's going to be okay. It's not likely he's going to miss surgery. It's going to be a 6-week recovery. It's most likely a dislocation. That's what that means. So nothing serious, but he dodged an absolute bullet. If he would have torn a labrum or something, that would have just hindered his development for him going into the offseason, preparing for next season already. You just dodged an absolute bullet there with only a slight injury. And talking about Cam Ward, he looked great the second half of the season. He finished the year completely strong. And at the beginning of the season, it was like, oh, he's not playing so hot. Is he really going to be the guy for the Titans? But then the second half of the season, he turned on another level, and he looked great. You guys realize at one point he had more interceptions than touchdowns? And he finished the season off with almost a 60% completion percentage, over 3,100 yards, 15 touchdowns to 7 interceptions, and an 80 QB rating and 2 rushing touchdowns. But I'm not worried about his 2025 stats because we've seen quarterbacks take the next level. We literally saw Caleb Williams and Drake May take the next step throughout their second season. What Cam Ward did in the final 8 games of the year is when he flipped the switch and turned into one of the best quarterbacks in his division because he played great. The Titans' defense was absolutely awful, and that's the reason why they weren't winning games. I also think they kind of wanted a better draft pick. But here are the stats for Cam Ward in the final 8 games of the season. 62% completion percentage, 10 touchdown passes, 1 pick. He became very, very careful with the football and not committing turnovers. Over 100 passer rating. Those 2 rushing touchdowns that he has, that came in the final 8 weeks. 4 straight games with 2 touchdown passes from weeks 14 to 18, and 2 games with over 100 passer rating. I will say, you saw that in that tweet. The future is very, very bright for Cam Ward. And with him saving not a serious injury, he gets to develop and he gets to work out all throughout the offseason, get prepared, and kind of even build chemistry with the teammates around him. A lot of these guys are rookies. Elike Manor. You have Jameer DK, Gunnar Helm. I think he gets with those guys during the offseason. You can create something special in Tennessee. But also during free agency, during the draft. Get the man some help, please. Please. He was running around for his life the first couple weeks of the season. He was getting sacked, on pace to get sacked the most in NFL history. On the second half, he got a little bit better, but the offensive line needs to get better. There are a lot of holes in this team that need to be filled. And I know you can do that in free agency and in the NFL draft with the cap space that you have and the 4th overall pick. But knowing that Cam Ward and what he did in the final 8 weeks, I think the future is very bright for him and the Titans going forward. Grade Cam Ward's rookie season for me. Grade it for me. A, B, C, D, or F. I would give him a D the first couple weeks of the season. Then the final 8 weeks, I'd give him a B, A-. But you go down in the comments section. Let me know A, B, C, D, or F. We got you covered all throughout the Titans head coaching search because it's probably going to go by very quick. I know the Titans are going to want to get that head coach in place and get him ready for the NFL draft. So make sure you hit that sub button so you don't miss out. And as always, tighten up.